what's going to happen on September 23rd, 2015. Welcome to Now Daily. I'm Robert Crawford. Here's what's happening now. September 23rd is this odd date. Hundreds of thousands of people throughout the world believe we are in an ending of an era. That a great shaking is coming to the world, that this has been tied to biblical and financial indicators that continue to point straight to the end of September in 2015. So what's really going on? Well, Jeff Berwick actually does an excellent job in this short documentary explaining why so many believe that a massive event could happen as early as September. Jeff, a shocking critic after his accurate prediction of the past crashes and his multi-million-dollar entrepreneurial successes, discusses his findings. Our financial system. Did you know that in 2008, the privately held Federal Reserve Bank began quantitative easing, a technical word for creating dollars out of nothing? This began a series of events that led to the positioning of the other major countries away and leaving the dollar in the dust. The BRICS International Bank, BRIC, has been established by over 100 countries in the world, led by Brazil, Russia, India, and China. This currency will be completely backed by gold and is designed to fund governments, not individuals. Really competition directly against the IMF and the World Banks. This will move developing nations away from the dollar and into this new system, thus weakening the stranglehold of the petrodollar. Others also connect a biblical cycle called the Shemitah, S-H-E-M-I-T-A-H. The Shemitah, this is known as a 7-year cycle that translates into the washing away. Looking back in the past 100 years, you begin to realize that our financial system has taken a dive in each Shemitah year. Number 1, the biblical Day of Atonement happens to occur on September 23rd, 2015. Number 2, the Pope will be visiting Washington, D.C. and the United Nations in New York City on September 23rd, 2015. Number 3, the large-scale military exercise called Jade Helm will be concluding in September. Number 4, there's something in the Jewish religion which is called Shemitah, and Rabbi Jonathan Cahn noted that in the Shemitah in 2001 caused the stock market collapse at the end of September. And then again in 2008, the Shemitah also caused the economic trouble. Remember, the Shemitah is a 7-year cycle. The next Shemitah happens to be at the end of the 29th day of Elul, this September 2015. According to Thomas Horn in his book Petrus Romanus, written in 2012, he notes the following about Daniel's prophecy, and specifically this verse, quote, "Know also and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to cause to return and to build Jerusalem, unto the atoned, the prince, shall be 7 weeks." Unquote. Jerusalem was claimed by Israel during the 6 Days War in June of 1967. Recall that in the 70 weeks paradigm, the 7 is the 7 weeks of years, which is 7 times 7, 49 years. T.W. Tram explains a remarkable concurrence. In June 7th, 1967, falls in the Hebrew year 5727. Adding 49 prophetic years to this date, we arrive in the Hebrew year 5776, which is 2015 on the Gregorian calendar. Interestingly, if one counts exactly 49 prophetic years in the 360-day calendar, that would be 17,640 days from June 7th, 1967, date of Jerusalem's recapture. We arrive at September 23rd, 2015, the Day of Atonement. There's a guy in Puerto Rico called Efrain Rodriguez who's saying that a huge meteor will fall near Puerto Rico this September in the ocean and will cause huge tidal waves that will affect the East Coast. I'm not saying I believe that at all, but just reporting what's going around. The French foreign minister says we have 500 days to avoid climate chaos. This is the most interesting thing to me. In a speech with Secretary of State John Kerry, he announced multiple times that the world had 500 days until climate chaos. That speech took place on May 13th, 2014. 500 days from the day of this interview is September 24th, 2015. Let's listen to that interview real quick.
We have 500 days to avoid the climate chaos. Very important issue of climate change, climate chaos. And we had, I said that we had 500 days to avoid climate chaos. And I know that President Obama and John Kerry himself are committed on this subject, and I'm sure that them, with a lot of other friends, we should be able to reach the success of this very important matter.
So what do you think is going to happen in September? Watch this video and find it all at nowdaily.com.